सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। We were looking at the 15th Vakya in the Madhu Brahmanam. The Madhu Brahmanam itself is talking about interdependence or mutual dependence between objects. Anything which is mutually dependent is itself mithya, and it depends on something else for its very existence. Now that is what is the teaching here. From the beginning, the first Vakya itself talked about this interdependence. Then 2 to 13, we saw that the same interdependence was talked about with reference to the Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, and Adhyatma also. So different Devatas also were talked about with reference to different sense organs within a particular individual self, and how all of them are interdependent. So from this, what was being taught is whether at the individual level, whether at the Adi Bhuta level, whether at the level of these Pancha Bhutas like Prithvi, etc., and other natural phenomena, correct? Like even thunder, clouds, etc., also were talked about. So those are all Adi Bhuta. Then Adi Daiva, all the different Devatas also were talked about. All of them are interdependent or mutually dependent. That means they are all Mithya, and then there has to be some Satyam, some Adhishtanam for all these things. That was revealed in the 14th. In the 14th Vakya, if you see, I am Atma, like this in general, this Atma Shabda here is for the totality of everything. Okay, all this objective world, the totality of all the beings. So Bhashyakara says, Soyam Atma Sarvesham Bhutanam. Okay, Sarvesham Bhutanam Madhu is there. This I am Atma is what? It is the it is everything, the totality. Okay, and here when you talk about the totality, then the total physical is called the Virat. The totality of all the subtle bodies, both the Jnanendriya totality, Karmendriya totality, those are all called Hiranyagarbha. Okay, so now the Hiranyagarbha itself is nothing but a conglomeration of all the Devatas, you can say, correct? Because the totality of each and every Indriya is a Devata, and the Devata itself is a Anga of the Hiranyagarbha. The Devatas themselves are like the Indriyas for us. For like that, the Devatas are for the Hiranyagarbha. So Hiranyagarbha is a totality of everything. Now that Hiranyagarbha is talked about here as the Tejomayaha, Amritamayaha, and all that. So the Purusha who is there in that totality of physical and totality of subtle bodies, and that particular Purusha is called Amurta Rasaha, the essence of even the formless or the subtle body. All the previous mantras, this was repeated 2 times, correct? This Tejomayaha, Amritamayaha, Purushaha was repeated for the totality and for the individual at the Adhyatma level. Here, since only the totality is being talked about, it is only coming once. That also you have to notice. Straight away, then it goes, Yascha, Ayam Atma, Tejomayaha, Amritamayaha, Purushaha, Ayam Eva, Saha, like that. Okay. So, this Amritamayaha Purushaha is the one who is left out, because everything else is interdependent, mutually dependent. Whatever is left, this Vijnanamayaha, the self, because of which, in fact, all the other sentient beings are having their sentiency, their awareness. That Atma is nothing but this Brahman, like that, the same. That is Amritam, means here Amrita Sadhanam. The knowledge of that Atma is the Amrita Sadhanam. That alone is Brahman, like that. This 14th talked about the totality. Now the 15th saw a little bit last time, where that Atma, which is now the Adhisthana, correct? Which is Satyam, which is the one which is supporting all these mutually dependent vastus, you can say, which are all at a Vyavaharika Satya level, correct? At the objective world, if you take all these mutually dependent things, they are all dependent on their very existence, on this Atma, which is Satyam. In fact, that Atma is now presented as the Atma of all the beings. Okay, the Sarvatma Bhava only is the main thing which is taught here. So that Atma, Sava Ayam Atma, means the Atma which was talked about here, correct? As the Yaha Purushaha Ayameva Saha and all that in the previous one. That Atma is the Sarvesham Bhutanam Adhipatihi, Sarvesham Bhutanam Raja. So it is the king of for all the beings, and it is also the Lord or overlord, or the one who really rules, the ruler, Adhipati. So by saying this, basically what the Upanishad is teaching is that this Atma alone is the Adhishtanam. Here the Adhipati, the Adhishtanam or the Satyam, Satya Vastu only is called as the Adhipati or the Raja. Okay. And then a beautiful analogy of the hub and spoke is talked about. The hub spoke analogy is very interesting analogy, because the spokes themselves move. They can move, correct, along with the rim. So the spokes are connected to both the rim and the hub. The rim and the spokes, they can move, but the axle or the hub itself does not move. It is unmoving. It is at the center of the wheel. Although everything is connected to that, it does not move. It is there as it is. The axle cannot, it does not move. It can remain as it is. On that, the whole thing, everything is rotating, means or revolving. Therefore, like that, this Brahman is Kutastaha. It is there. This Atma Brahman is there. Everything is dependent on it. Everything is having activities. It is all moving. All that is fine. But Brahman itself does not change in any manner. It does not move. Correct? That analogy. This analogy is used in different Upanishads actually. Even in Mundaka Upanishad, this analogy is there. This Rathanabi and the Araha. Okay. The spokes are the Araha. So they are connected to both the Nemi and the Nabhi. Nemi is the rim, Nabhi is the central portion or the hub. So they are connected, and like that all these beings, whether they are devas or they are just individual beings, or even all the lokas and all the pranas, everything, in fact, so everything is connected to this Atma alone, or it is supported by this Atma. So Atma is the Sarva Adhara, it is the Sarva Adhishtana, and therefore it is Sarvatma also. It is the self of all. That teaching is presented here in this 15th Vakya here. Bhashya also, I think we saw briefly. So this Atma, Bhashyakara, Yasmin Atmani Parishishtaha Vijnanamayaha Antye Paryaye Praveshitaha Soha Saha Ayam Atma. So Saha Ayam Atma, like this Sava Ayam Atma is there. This Atma Bhashyakara is connecting to the previous one over, correct? Here, finally, here also he said, Yastu Parishishtaha Vijnanamayaha. So he is connecting to that. In the previous section, whatever was talked about, that Atma alone is again taken here, and it is now said that this Atma is Sarvesham Bhutanam Adhipatihi. So, how does it become Sarvesham Bhutanam Adhipatihi? Bhashyakara explains that. First, he talks about this Avidya Krita, Karyakarna Sanghata, etc. So, in Avidya Krita Karyakarna Sanghata Upadi Vishishte Brahma Vidyaya Paramartha Atmani Praveshite. So, due to by gaining this Brahma Vidya, the one who is there, one who is characterized by this ignorance created whatever this Karyakarna Sanghata, this body, correct? Body, mind, sense complex, and also, of course, along with the body, mind, sense complex, everything else also will come. The world itself is there. So everything is really only upadhi, only a conditioning factor. The one who is characterized by this upadhi of Karyakarna Sanghata with Brahma Vidya, that same individual self has as though entered into the Paramartha Atma, into the limitless, ultimately real self, and that self was already talked about, correct? Saha Eva Muktaha. In this manner, this self has already been described. How Anantaraha Abhakyaha. So all kinds of contradictory adjectives are used for the self, correct? Anantaraha Abhakyaha. So it is neither inside nor outside. It doesn't have any interior nor exterior. Means what? It is not constrained by any dimension. It is not constrained by space. It transcends space, time. Correct? Tritsnaha. It is complete. It is prajnana ghana bhutaha. It is existent, and it is also of the form of consciousness, which is homogeneous, partless whole, homogeneous consciousness. And this Atma, Savai, Sayeva Ayam Atma, Avyavahita Purva Paryaye Tejomayaha Ityadina Nirdishta. So the same Atma was talked about here previously, correct? As the one who is Tejomayaha, Amritamayaha, etc. in the previous sections of the same Brahmana. So that Vijnana Atma is the Vidwan now who has become, because of this Brahma Vidya, that Jnani is nothing but he is Sarvesham Bhutanam Ayam Atma Sarvehi Upasyaha. So this Jnani who has become the self of all, by becoming a Jnani you also become Sarvehi Upasyaha, means what? One who is worshipped by everybody. The Jnani is also a Pujyaha, Upasya. Jnani becomes an Upasya for others. Okay. And Sarvesham Bhutanam Adhipatihi, Sarva Bhutanam Swatantraha. So Bhashyakara says, the one who becomes the Lord of everybody, ruler of everybody, means what? One who is independent. This independence is very important here, because Madhu means they are all mutually dependent, interdependent. But this Atma is independent, not dependent on anything, self-existent, self-revealing Atma, which is independent with reference to all the other beings. And in fact, when you say Adhipati, it is not like some. Bhashyakar also makes it very clear. He says, Na Kumara Amatyavate. It is not like a prince or a minister. Prince and minister can be an adhipati, correct? They also can rule over certain people and all that. But this Atma is like the Raja. He is the ruler of all. Okay, Kimtari, Sarvesham Bhutanam, Raja also. Both are there, correct? Adhipati he also is there. Raja also is there. Why does the Upanishad use both these things? Means, Bhashyakara explains that. Okay, Rajatva Visheshanam Adhipatihi iti. So this Rajatva, this Adhipati and Raja both are there, correct? Both Visheshanas are given. When both are there, why the Upanishad is using both means Bhashyakara says, Bhavati Kaschit Raja Uchita Vritti Mashritya Raja. So somebody you can say he is living like a king, correct? Even a wealthy person can be living like a king. He has the lifestyle of a king, but he is not really a king. Okay. So that's what he says. Natu Adipati. So somebody can have a lifestyle, a royal lifestyle like a king, even without being a king. That person also can be called a Raja, but this Raja is really a Raja. Okay. So he is Adipati, he is Raja. That is why the Rajatva Visheshanam Adipatihi iti. Like that Bhashyakara says. The Adipati is qualified by the also. He is the ruler, he is the king. Both. Means he is really the king of everybody. Means without this Atma, nothing else can happen, nothing else can move. No activity is possible. It is the basis, it is the Adhisthana for everything. Therefore, this Atma is the self of all, correct? Sarva Bhutatma, really. So that's what he says. Evam Sarva Bhutatma Vidwan Brahma with Muktaha Bhavati. So in this manner, the one who knows that I am the Atma of everything, that person is Brahma with, that person is the Mukta Purusha. He is liberated, he is free from all limitations. He has the freedom, ultimate freedom. Muktaha Bhavati. And this was already talked about in 1.4 itself. Okay, if you go back to the first chapter, 4th Brahmana, 147, 148 and all, it will come. 149, 149, there is a discussion. Brahma Vidyaya Sarvam Bhavishyantaha Manushyaha Manyante Kimu Tad Brahma Aved Sarvam Abhavat. Like this, people are talking. By this Brahma Vidya, one becomes everything. Even a human being can become everything. But to become everything, what did that Brahman know? Like this, there is a question. And then the 1.4 says Brahman knew itself only and became everything like that, correct? So, but that question is that 149, it is asked like that. Iti idam tat vyakyatam evam. So that has now been answered again, it seems. Tat vyakyatam evam atmanam eva sarvatmatvena acharya agamabhyam shrutva matva tarkataha विज्ञाय साक्षात एवं यथा मधु ब्राह्मणे तथा तस्मात् ब्रह्म विज्ञानात् एवं लक्षणात् पूर्वमपि तत् अविद्यया अब्रह्म आसीत् सर्वमेव सर्वमासीत् तान्तु अविद्याम् अस्माद् विज्ञानात् तिरस्कृत्य ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मैव सन् ब्रह्म अभवत् सर्वः सः सर्वम् अभवत्. So what does the Upanishad teach? So that question was asked, what did Brahman know to become all? Now that has been now explained here. Okay, that has been described how Atma alone, the individual self, knows oneself as the self of all. Sarvatmatvena. How does it know that? You have to know only through Acharya and Veda, Agama. So Acharya Agamabhyam Shrutva, having heard this from Acharya and Agama, that is the Shravana. But then if you hear that also, it is not very easy to understand. You have so many doubts, etc. So you want to clarify that. So how do you clarify that? Use Shruti Sammata Tarka. By recollecting that knowledge. Once you have clear knowledge, after understanding whatever the Shruti has said, even then you can have Viparita Bhavana. So you have to overcome that and then make this knowledge available to you. That's what here Vijnaya Sakshat. Sakshat Vijnaya means This knowledge is always available to you directly. Knowing this directly and making it always available. That means your self has transformed. You don't have any viparita bhavana. You never take yourself as an individual. So having known like that, and that is what is also shown in this Madhu Brahmana, correct? Like as it has been shown in this Madhu Brahmana, Yata Madhu Brahmane Darshitam Tata. So you have known yourself as the self of all, not as a puny individual, but the limitless self who is the Adhara for this entire Srishti, for all the beings. And in the manner as shown in this Madhu Brahmana, therefore what? Tasmat Brahma Vijnana. So because of this Brahma Vijnana, Evam Lakshanat, Purvamapi Brahma Eva Sat. Okay, here the important thing is, for whom is this knowledge? Like this, there is a question everybody asks. Does Brahman have avidya? Then means we have to say Brahman. That Bhashyakara also makes it clear here. So even though you are Brahman, you are always Brahman only. Correct? You are never not Brahman. So even previously also, being this Brahman alone, but due to avidya, you are as though you are Abrahman. So Brahmaiva Sat, being Brahman, avidyaya Abrahma asi, because of avidya, you have become Abrahma. Okay. And therefore what? Again you have to become everything. So sarvameva cha sat asarvam asit. Also being everything, already you are everything, but due to avidya again, you feel that you are not everything. You think, you take yourself as a limited individual. Being like that, then what? Tam to avidyam asmad vijnana tiraskritya. So destroying this avidya with this Brahma Vidya, Brahma with Brahma iva san. So knowing the Brahman and being the Brahman, you become the Brahman also. So being that Brahman, but due to avidya, you have become Abrahma. So again, being Brahman, you know this Brahman and become that Brahman again. So that is how this whole thing works. Bhashyakara explains that very clearly here. Sarvaha saha sarvam abhavat. So already you are everything. Sarvaha. So that person who is all, but due to avidya thinks that he is a limited being, again becomes everything due to this knowledge. So this is how the whole thing works. Okay. So he gives it beautifully here in a summary. So with this, the entire Shastra Artha is over. Okay, whatever the Shastra is to teach, it has taught you here. So Bhashyakar also says, Parisamaptaha Shastrarthaha Yadarthaha Prastutaha. So for the purpose of teaching what it started, that teaching has been now given. It is now completed. Okay. So tasmin etasmin sarvatma bhute brahma vidhi sarvatmani sarvam jagat samarpitam etasmin arthe drishtantaha upadiyate. So having taught whatever is to teach, still in this manner, okay, it is now giving an analogy for you to further understand that everything, how everything is is connected to this Atma alone. Okay, everything is revolving around this Atma to show that. Okay, so evameva asmin Atmani Paramatma Bhute. So this Atma, which is in the form of Paramatma, and who is also the Brahma Vidhi, Sarvani Bhutani, all the other beings, Brahmadi Stamba Paryantani, starting from Brahmaji onwards up to a grass, okay, everything, and also all the Devas, Sarve Devaha. Sorry, I went one line later, I think. Okay. Tasmin Yetasmin Sarvatma Bhute Brahma Vidhi, Sarvatmani, the one who is the Atma of everything, Sarvam Jagat Samarpitam, the entire world is resolved into you only, to Samarpitam. With etasmin arte. Okay, to show this meaning, one drishtanta is being given now. Drishtantah upadiyate. What is the Drishtanta? Tadyatha. So here we saw Tadyatha Rathanabhaucha Rathanemaucha Araha Sarve Samarpitaha. So that's what Tadyatha Rathanabhaucha Rathanemaucha Araha Sarve Samarpitaha iti. So the Upanishad gives this example or analogy of spokes and the hub and the okay. So all the everything is connected only to the hub. Okay, whether it is the spokes or through the spokes, even the rim is also connected to the hub only. And the rim and the spokes and all can rotate or can revolve. Okay, the wheel can revolve. It is all having action, but the axle which is in the center portion never moves anywhere. That is the important point here. So that we have to understand from this analogy. So this prasiddhaha artha. So this is known very well. This spokes and the rim and the hub. Nabhi is the hub. Evameva. So in the same manner, Asmin Atmani, in this Atma, Paramatma Bhute, which is also in the form of Paramatma, and Brahma Vidhi. Again, the one who has known himself as Brahman, this Jnani, Sarvani Bhutani, all the beings, Brahmadi Stamba Paryantani, starting from Brahma to the grass, Sarve Devaha, all the Devatas. Okay, so that is there here. Evameva Asmin Atmani, Sarvani Bhutani, Sarve Devaha, Sarve Loka. And all is there. Same thing here, Bhashyakara is explaining. So, Sarve Devaha means Agnyadayaha, starting from Agni onwards, Agni, Indra, etc. Sarve Lokaha, Bhuradayaha, Bhuhu, Bhuaha, Swaha, all those lokas. 7 up, 7 down. Sarve Pranaha, all the Indriyas, Vagadayaha, starting from the Vag Indriya, which is a Karmendriya, and also Jnanendriya also. Sarve Eta Atmanaha Samarpitaha. They all have entered or resolved into this Atma. Again here, Bhashyakara, again Jala Chandravat, Prati Sharira Anupraveshinaha Avidya Kalpitaha Sarvam Jagate Asmin Samarpitam. So Bhashyakara says, when we talk about this Sarva, again is this Sarva separate from the Atma? Is it real? Is it of the same order of reality? Means it is not. That's why Bhashyakara is giving here Jalachandravat. This entire world is like only a reflection. It's not real. Okay. So even though this Atma, we say you are Sarvatma, you are the Atma in each and every physical body and subtle body, etc. All that also, which is manifest in each body, mind, sense complex, is also like a reflection only. Okay. In fact, the only thing you have to understand here is both the reflecting media and the reflected consciousness, we have to say, all are Atma alone. Understand that. That's why this analogy and all you should not take too far. You have to take it only as a particular aspect of that analogy and understand it as it is. So whatever consciousness which is manifest is like a reflection. It's better to say it is like a reflection. It is not the real thing. And that also, what happens to that? Okay, it is Prati Sharira Anupraveshana. So the one which has entered or which is manifest in each and every Sharira, that itself is only Avidya Kalpitaha. They are all these individual consciousnesses, you can say, which are appearing in different body, mind, sense complexes. They are all only like this Pratibimba. It is all only due to ignorance. It is all only an appearance. And all that, this entire world, in fact, Asmin Atmani Samarpitam. Okay, they are all resolving into this Atma. They resolve in this Atma alone. So Atma alone is the basis of everything. It is the Satya Vastu. It is the only thing which is there really. Everything else depends on this Atma for its very existence. They are all dependent. They are all mutually dependent and they are dependent on the Atma for their very existence. That is the teaching here. And in the same thing, now Bhashyakara is giving lot of quotations and all that, very interesting. So, Yeduktam. So, whatever was said here, this teaching, this has been already told also in a manner. Okay, the Sarvatma Bhava, again it was there in 1.4.10 itself, it says, correct, Brahmavid Vamadevaha Pratipede. So, the Vamadeva, who is a Brahmavid, he told that in the womb itself. Okay, he said, what did he understand and what did he say? So he cognized this and then he said, Aham Manuhu Abhavam Suryascha iti. So I am Manu and I am also the Surya, like this. The Sarvatma Bhava was, and then it was said by Vamadeva, the great Rishi, that I am Manu, I am Surya, like this. He said that. Sa Yesha Sarvatma Bhavaha Vyakhyataha. So this Sarvatma Bhava was already, it was hinted there, and that has now been again explained. Bhashyakara gives a connection to 1.4.10 again. And further what? Sayesha Vidwan Brahmavit Sarvopadihi Sarvatma Sarvaha Bhavati. So this Vidwan who is Brahmavit, he is actually all the upadhis also, all the conditioning factors, all the Sthula Sukshma Sharira, everything is this Brahmavit alone, this Atma alone. And he is Sarvatma, means he is the self who is manifesting in each and every body mind sense complex, and he is the one. So because of that, he is everything, he becomes everything, Sarvaha Bhavati. So from a Upadhi standpoint, we say this. But if you do not take into account the Upadhi, then what? Nirupadhihi, Nirupakyaha, Anantaraha, Abhahyaha, Krishnaha, Prajnanaganaha, Ajaha, Ajaraha, Amritaha, Abhayaha, Achalaha, Neti Neti iti, Astulaha, Ananuhu, Ityevam Visheshanaha Bhavati. So, from the Upadhi standpoint, there are certain Visheshanas. Now, if you negate all the Upadhis and now you want to only reveal this Atma as the one who is free from all the Upadhis, then different Visheshanas are given. Now, these two Visheshanas look like they are contradictory. Correct? That's what Bhashyakara is trying to point out here. And in fact, others struggle a lot. That also he will say later. So, the same Atma without any Upadhi, okay, if you take this Atma, Nirupakyaha, Anantaraha, Abhahyaha, so this Atma cannot be talked about as the meaning of any one particular word, but is the meaning of all words. You have to say that, correct? This itself looks very contradictory. Also, the one who does not have any interior, neither has any exterior, means one who is free from space. Krishnaha, one who is complete, one who is whole, partless whole. Prajnana Ghanaha, one who is this consciousness, dense consciousness, we have to say. That means one who is homogeneous consciousness with partless whole again. And one who is never born, never becomes old, never dies, does not have any fear, does not move. Okay, Ajaha, Ajaraha, Amritaha, Abhayaha, Achalaha. So how do we point out this Atma? Means by negating everything, Neti, Neti, Iti. Because once you negate everything as Mithya, whatever is left behind is only the negator's Swarupa, which is this Atma. And that Atma is Astulaha, Ananuhu. So it is not gross, it is not subtle, correct? It is not big, it is not small, means it is free from dimension itself. Ityevam Visheshanaha Bhavati. So these kinds of Visheshanas are there also. Okay, when you talk with the Upadhi, certain Visheshanas are there. You say Sarvatma, Sarva Upadhi, etc. But if you talk about Nirupadhi, Atma as the one without any upadhi, then some other Visheshnas are all there. But what? Those who are not aware of this, those who do not have the traditional teaching, they will think that these are all contradictory. They have to now give some fancy explanations for this. So that's what Bhashyakara here he says, Tam etam artham ajanantaha. Those who do not know this meaning, who are they? Tarkikaha, kechite. So some Tarkikas, those who do not know all these things, but they think they are Panditas. Panditam manyamanaha. So those who think that we are all great logicians and they think that they themselves they think that they are Panditas, they are intellectuals. And also certain people who think that they know the meaning of the Vedas also. So Agama Vidaha, also they think that they know the meaning of the Agama, like Purva Mimamsakas or other people. Because Tarkikas for them still Anumana and Pratyaksha are the most important pramana. Although they accept Veda, but Veda they do not give primacy. But to claim that we give primacy to the Veda and we are all Agama with, we are all Veda with like that. But even they understand the meaning of the Shastra wrongly. Shastrartham viruddham manyamanaha. Okay, they do not understand the Shastrartha properly. Vikalpyantaha moha magadham upayanti. So they all enter into all this delusion only. They are all deluded. Okay, so they all give some fancy explanations. They do not understand that you have to see this in two different standpoints. If you see it with upadhi, then certain things are there. But if you have to negate all the upadhis and just understand the Atma as it is, and then there are different Visheshanas, different words are used to reveal it. That's all correct. Different Lakshanas are used, but they may look contradictory. That is the problem. Okay, but these people they do not know that. But such teachings are there in all the Upanishads, even in Bhagavad Gita also. Okay, so that's what now Bhashyakara is trying to show that. Tam etam artham anuvadata vadataha. So this same kind of explanation or meaning are given by all these mantras. The two mantras he is quoting now first. One from or both are from Ishavasya Upanishad. So even in Ishavasya Upanishad, which is a mantra Upanishad, because it appears in the Shukla Yajurveda Samhita, Vajashanai Samhita, it is appearing. So there it says Anejat Ekam Manaso Javiyaha. So this is also contradictory, correct? This it is one and it does not move. Anejat, unmoving, and it is one, but it is faster than the mind. Manasaha Javiyaha. It goes faster than the mind even without moving. It doesn't move anywhere, but it is faster. Wherever your mind goes, there also this Atma is there. Correct? That alone is the Adhara for everything. That's what you have to understand. So it looks contradictory again, correct? Similarly, tad ejati, tan naijati. So it moves, but it does not move. That means it transcends all movement. That is the idea here. So, like this, these two mantras, they say this. Now, same thing is said in Taitiriyake, Yasmat Paranna Paramasti Kinchit Yasmannani Yonajyayo Osti Kaschit. This we chant in fact every day in our temple puja, correct? So, this is from the Taittiriya Aranyaka, and Yasmat Param Na Aparamasti Kinchit. There is nothing which is greater than this nor lesser than this. Like this, it is coming here. This also looks like contradictory. Again, this is also pointing out that there is nothing bigger or smaller than this Atma means what? This Atma is free from spatial dimension. It transcends the space. Similarly, Etat Samagayan Naste. This Taittiriya Upanishad. Ahamannam, 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 ahamannado, hamannado, hamannadaha. Like that it goes. So I am the food. I am also the eater of the food. This also looks contradictory, correct? How can you be both the food and the eater of the food? That's what you have to know. Again understand. Atma is the one which is appearing as the food also. Atma is the one which is also appearing as the eater of the food. So that is there in the Taittiriya Upanishad. In the end, it is there. The Samagana is there. Then similarly, in Chandogya also different things are there. Jakshat, Kridan, Ramamanaha. So this Atma is playing, it is enjoying and all that. Okay. Sa yadi pitruloka kamaha. So if it wants this pitruloka, it will get it immediately. It seems. That means all the kama, all the things it wants, this Atma, it gets everything. It can enjoy anything. Means what? Everything. It actually transcends again all desires because being limitless, desires have no meaning. In fact, really, everything is only a leela. Everything is only a play. And again, sarva gandhaha, sarva rasaha. So it is all fragrances is this Atma, all tastes are this Atma like that. Again, even in Mundaka it is said Sarvajnaha, Sarvavit. So this Atma is the one who knows everything. So here again, this is all with Upadhi. Okay. This Sarvajnaha, Sarvavit, Sarvagandaha, Sarvarasaha. Yadi Pitriloka Kamaha means Pitriloka is talked about as though it is there really. But again, these are all from the standpoint of Avidya Krita Upadhi. So even if you want to go to Pitriloka, you will get it immediately like that because being Brahmavit for him, so Oshnute Sarvan Kamaan Saha, like that Taittiriya also says, correct? All desires are as though fulfilled immediately. Yugapat. Saha, there is Yugapat. Simultaneously, as soon as you know this Brahman, it's as though all your desires have been fulfilled and you know everything. All the tastes are your taste only. All fragrances are you, like that. So Bhashyakara is giving both kinds of Visheshanas here, Lakshana Vakyas. Then different Vedas also is showing, correct? So Chandogya is Sama Veda, Taittiriya is Krishna Yajurveda, Ishavasya is Shukla Yajurveda. Now he is talking about Atharvana Veda. Atharvane cha Durat Sudure Tadihantike cha. So Mundaka also says it is farther than the farthest, but it is also very, very near. Again, these are all like contradictory statements. It transcends the time, spatial limitations, etc. Then Katavalli also. In Kathopanishad also it is that Anoraniyan, Mahato Mahiyan. This is also very popular, oft quoted Vakya. It is smaller than the smallest, smaller than even the atom, and bigger than the biggest. Mahato Mahiyan. Then Kastam Mada who other than me will know this Deva who is both, who has Mada means here, who is both happy and who is not happy, like that. Okay. Basically, who again transcends all the states of mind, all this experiential joy, etc. One who transcends all that. And who is that Deva means that Deva is nothing but this Atma alone. Kastam Madamadam Devam. Again, Tad Bhavataha अन्यायत्येति तिष्ठत् तद्भावतोऽन्यायत्येति तिष्ठत्. Atma is shown as being free from all activities. Even while running, this Atma is there in the same place. Even though everything else is running. Very, very interesting verse in the 9th chapter, where again, see, already in the 4th chapter, Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi, Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam is there. There, all the Karakas are talked about as Brahman. Here, something similar, but here it is all aham, aham, aham like this. Aham Kratuhu. I am all the rituals which are Shrauta rituals are called Kratuhu here. Yajna means Smarta rituals like that Bhashyakara writes. So I am all the rituals said in the Shruti. I am all the rituals which are said in the Smriti. Then I am the Agni. I am Havis like this in this particular verse. Bhagavan says, I am whatever is associated with the Yajna, the Kratu, I am all that. I am the one who is offered into that. I am the Agni into which you are offering that. Again, all these things look contradictory. But again, Atma is the one which is supporting all the factors of action. All the Karakas are not independent of the Atma. Each and every Karaka is this Atma alone. So that is there in that 9th chapter 10th verse. Very interesting verse. Then also later in the same chapter, Pita Hamasya Jagataha Mata Dhata Pitamaha. Like that, I am the Pita, I am the Mata of this Jagat. I am also Pita Maha. I am the grandfather also. And I am the one who is supporting everything. Like this, Bhagavan says. And then he also says, in the 5th chapter also interesting things are there. Nadatte kasyachit papam nachaiva sukritam vibhuhu ajnanena avritam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. This ajnanena avritam jnanam, again, this 5:10 is a verse. So this Atma does not take any papa nor any punya also. Even Paramatma, if you take, everybody is praying. Bhaktas are offering things to Paramatma. Does Paramatma take everything? Does Paramatma take their papa? Does Paramatma take their punya, etc.? Means no. Paramatma neither wants it, nor does the Atma takes anything. But then people still offer everything only because they are all ajnanena avritam. Their jnana, they don't have this jnanam that aham akarta, aham abhokta, all this jnanam is not there. Therefore, they are offering. So, but na adatte, Atma does not take anything, whether it is Sukrita or Papa, both. And again, samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyatva vinashyantam vinasyatsva vinashyantam. Like that. So, samam sarveshu bhuteshu, the one who is there equally, the unchanging reality, the, the invariable in each and every cognition, that is this Paramatma. And in fact, you have to see that Paramatma as the one who is vinashyatsu, amongst the things which are getting destroyed, which are getting decayed, which are getting old, dying. This is the undying, indeclinable, unchanging vinashyatsu avinashyantam. You have to see this. That is the reality. That is the jnanam. That is there in the 13th chapter. Again in 18th chapter, here they have given it wrongly as 1720, but it is actually 1820. Avibhaktam vibhakteshu. Like this, the 1820 is there. And there also you have to see this Paramatma as the one which is undivided amongst all the divided things. Like even the space is really undivided, correct? Even though there may be n number of parts and you can even count so many part spaces, in reality, space itself is undivided. So it is the undivided, indivisible amongst all the divided things. That you have to understand. And this also Grashishnu Prabhavishnu cha. So this also is there. This is the one into which again during Pralaya Kala it takes everything. Everything resolves into this. During Srishti, this Atma is the one which gives out everything. Like this verse is there. So all these different Gita verses also, they are all pointing to both this Nirupadhika Visheshas are also there. Sopadhika also are there. So you have to understand them properly. Iti, so Bhashyakara tells that evam evamadi agamartham viruddham iva pratibhantam manyamanaha स्वचित्त सामर्थ्यात् अर्थ निर्णयाय विकल्पयन्तः अस्ति आत्मा नास्ति आत्मा कर्ता अकर्ता मुक्तः बद्धः क्षणिकः विज्ञानमात्रं शून्यं च इत्येवं विकल्पयन्तः न पारम् अधिगच्छन्ति अविद्यायाः विरुद्धधर्मदर्शित्वात् सर्वत्र. So in this manner all these teachings are there and they may look like it is all contradictory. If you don't understand the context in which these Visheshanas are used, these revealing words are used, you will not understand, you will get confused. That is why you should not read the Shastra by yourself. Panditopi, this Atma Vichara, you should not do by yourself. Swatantriyana na kuryat. Like this it is said in the tradition. You have to go to a guru and learn properly. Then only all these seemingly contradictory things also you can understand it properly. So, evamadi agamartham viruddham iva pratibhantam, he says. So it looks like they are contradictory, opposing each other. And taking like that what? Pratibhantam manyamanaha. Those who think that they are contradictory, what? Swachitta samarthya, they are using their own intellect now. And they are giving some artha, they are giving their own meaning, but they are giving different meanings. Artha nirnayaya vikalpyantaha. Vikalpayantaha means what? Though they have different vikalpas, different opinions they have, different types of meanings they give. What are those? Asti Atma. Some people say Atma is there. But again, even if they say Atma is there, then they say Atma is Anuparimana or Atma is Deha Parimana and all that. So Atma is of the size of an atom. Atma is of the size of the body. They take. Or Buddhists say Nasti Atma. Atma itself is not there. Then some others say Atma is Karta. But the Sankhya say Atma is Akarta. Okay. And some people say Atma is already Muktaha. Others say Atma is Baddha, Atma is bound. Then again, one type of Buddhists, they say that Atma itself is, it is all only transitory consciousness. Okay. Kshanikaha Vijnana Matram. So it is Kshanika Vijnana Matram. So it is of the nature of consciousness, but it is flickering. Okay, it is Kshanika, it is transitory. Or it is Shunya, there is nothing there. Like this, different teachings are there out there. So if you go on reading all those things, you will get confused at the end of the day. So you have to stick to only the Shruti and whatever your Guru is teaching you, then there is no confusion. So these people are all giving all these different opinions. Ityevam vikalpayantaha na param adhigachanti. They do not cross the other side of avidya. Bhashyakara says, avidyayaha param na adhigachanti. Not cross this ocean of avidya because they are contradictory. Viruddha dharma darshitvat sarvatra. So everywhere they are seeing contradictory things. They don't know how to make sense of it, and they give something out of their own intellect. They try to give some explanations and all that, but they come up with so many different explanations. and there is no coherence in that. It's all confusing. Therefore, what? Tasmat tatra yaha eva shrutyacharya darshitam marga anusarinaha tayeva avidyayaha param adhigachanti. Bhashyakara very clear. Therefore, what? With all these teaching which are there, with reference to all these things, the one who is going along with the Shruti and Acharya, whatever the Acharya who has come in the Parampara, again, Acharya has to be Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, one who knows the Parampara, one who knows the Sampradaya with, one who knows the teaching methodology, one who goes to such an Acharya and learns, goes in that Marga, okay, one who follows that path shown by the Shruti and Acharya, that person alone, Tayeva Avidyayaha Param Adhigachanti, that person alone crosses and goes to the other side of Avidya. Tayeva cha Asman Moha Samudrat Agadhat Uttarishyanti Na Itare Swabuddhi Kaushala Anusarinaha. So Bhashyakara completes it. So only those who go along with the Shruti and Acharya, they will cross this Samudra, this ocean of delusion, correct, and confusion. They only cross that, not others. Those who think that they can read everything themselves, or they are listening to some different YouTube videos, all that is not going to help you. You have to study properly. Ravana Manana Nididhyasanam. Ravana again you have to do with Acharya, whatever the Agama is saying. Then Manana Nididhyasanam you have to do properly, and then only you gain this knowledge. So that he makes it very clear. The other things we'll see next week. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Namaste ji.